The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Superconference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Superconference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Future Tech Podcast. My name is Josh Thomas and I'm here with Lukasz Zeligowski and Przemyslaw Budziszewski of Easymine.io. And Easymine is a management platform for cryptocurrency mining. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Glad to have you here all the way from Poland. In the United States right now, I believe the entire country is covered in ice. I'm in Austin, Texas, which is pretty far south, and even we have a sheet of ice over everything. What's going on in Poland right now in January?
It's January. Well, it's not as bad as in the US right now, but it's pretty cold.
Okay.
Yeah, it's snowy.
Yeah. Excellent. So tell me a little bit about Easymine. We talk to a lot of people here on this podcast who are developing a new platform, a new way to tokenize some industry, et cetera, but we rarely talk to someone who is supporting the mining industry specifically. So I'm really interested to learn more about this. Lukasz, could you kick us off?
Yeah. The mining thing is very important for the cryptocurrency. And till now, there is only a few tools which helps miners to mine. There are some platforms, some simple solutions, some programs, but in truth, there is no comprehensive solution to manage a mining farm, especially when you've got more than one computer which mines for you. And we discovered it because we also operate some average mine, and we discovered that it's very hard. It costs us a lot of work. So we decided to create a solution which helps us that farm. And we discovered that we can also try to offer this solution to all the others. And then also we hope the number of miners will increase.
Okay. And so what you're doing here is if someone has multiple mines, multiple machines, if you will, you've developed a platform that helps you keep track of how well each machine is performing and what kind of production it's maintaining and those sorts of things. Is that how it works?
Yeah, exactly. And even a little more, because we deliver the complete operating system, which has pre-installed software required for mining and all the other stuff. So what you only need to do is just plug the pen drive, the USB drive, start the machine, and then the machine starts mining for you.
It's that simple.
Yeah, that's simple. Simple mining.
It's all in the name.
Easy mine, yeah.
And so, Przemyslaw, you're the content developer for the company. Talk to us a little bit about the user experience and why the simplicity was so important.
Well, kind of going back to the kind of experiences, the kind of conversations that we've had with people, one of the things that struck us is that getting into this business really isn't easy. That, you do really have to have a certain level of expertise, certain level of experience to even be able to figure out, what kind of hardware you even need, what kind of software goes with that hardware, how to put two and two together and actually make it do anything. Like Lukasz said, the idea that we have is that more people should be mining, that there's a real cryptocurrency or blockchain revolution going on right now, but it won't really go anywhere without the underlying technology behind it, right? So the blockchain has to operate on something. It has to have some kind of hardware that actually runs the blockchain software. And that hardware has to be operated by people, and those people need to know what they're doing, right? So the idea behind the Easymine user experience was that we are trying to make everything, and I mean everything, every single step of building and operating your cryptocurrency mine as simple and as convenient as possible. First of all, to make the whole thing easier for people who are already mining, but also to make mining experience more attractive to people who might be new to it. So we're both trying to draw in a new crowd and help those who are already actively mining to be more effective and ultimately more profitable.
So let me ask you a question. As someone who is not a miner, I have an average level of computer literacy. It's not like the devil box to me or anything. But I don't know the first thing about mining. How much more would I need to learn? What is the learning curve from where I'm at, just an average guy, to being able to use your software to start mining on these machines?
Well, ideally, once everything is off the ground, up and running, you wouldn't really need any more experience, any more expertise than what's required to basically run a PC. At this point, right now, since we're still in fairly early beta stage, you do have to have a certain level of familiarity with the hardware. So I would say that right now you might have to be able to basically put a mining machine together on your own, just understand what goes where and why, to figure out some of the problems that may still arise. But once we're ready to deploy the official final release version, this is going to be basically what we call a plug and mine experience. So, if you don't think it's a devil box, if you're not afraid to touch it, that should be enough. Because yes, ultimately that's what we're aiming for, right? You just burn the system onto a flash drive, you put the flash drive in the machine, and from that point on, it does most of what it needs to do on its own.
So it's interesting that you're striving to make mining as easy as opening up a software program, and even purchasing cryptocurrency, which a lot more people do that than mine, is very difficult still. If you're brand new to the uninitiated, I just walked somebody through buying their first $10 of Ethereum the other day, and it took like an hour. And this was on Coinbase, because of all of the different things that you had to do and all the explanations and all this stuff. It's still very, very difficult to just buy cryptocurrency. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it even simpler to actually mine it, which is interesting to me. You're solving a problem that hardly anyone that I've talked to has even bothered to look at. Is, can we make this easier for the masses to do? And so I'm really interested in that. Tell me more, either one of you, tell me more about some of the experiences that you've run into over the past 6 months to a year, in getting miners online, that led to the development of this software.
Well, the fundamental experience was that the whole thing is just unbelievably repetitive, right? When we're starting out, we were basically mostly relying on GPU mining rigs. So to get a machine like this running, you have 6 to 8 to 12 GPUs, right? You have to flash every single GPU individually. You have to put all of this together, just rinse and repeat for another machine. We actually have a guy working for us for I think a period of 2 or 3 months. This was all he was doing. He was just basically putting mining machines together. And that was a full-time job for him. So one of the things that we basically eventually decided was that, if this can be simplified, if this can be streamlined, then we should do it. A lot of things have to be done at a very, very low level. Most mining software right now is still command line operated. So even the simplest jobs, you either have to write your own script or you have to understand what every single parameter that you're sending to the program does and basically do it over and over again. Every single time you want to switch pools, every time you want to switch currencies, every time you want to restart the system, you're basically dealing with, command line interface, kind of like back in the 1990s, right? This is not something that's going to fly with a mass market audience. If you're going to try and reach mass market for this kind of application, people are used to graphical interfaces. People are used to something simple, streamlined, easy, convenient, and friendly, right? So one of the reasons I think personally why the issue of making mining easier has actually rarely come up was that people were looking at it and just thinking, this is way too complicated. I don't even want to touch it, like with a 10-foot stick, right? So the idea of making it easier doesn't even come into the picture because, for the average person who may be, somewhat interested in cryptocurrencies, but still new to the subject, this is something that doesn't even parse as, how can we make it easier? Like, what is this in the first place? Like, how do I make sense of this? And it feels like, you need to have some kind of an advanced degree in IT before you can even understand what's what, let alone, trying to make it easier and more convenient.
And, Przemyslaw, how long has this project been in development?
About a year?
Well, yes, 10 months, about a year, something like this. Mm-hmm. Well, like Lukasz said, we're starting out from a sort of an in-house solution. In the very beginning, this wasn't actually meant to be a commercial project. So it's kind of hard to put a finger on a very specific start date. It's easier to actually decide when we decided to take this into sort of commercial product realm, when we started our ICO, when we went into beta. So these are concrete dates.
So let's go into there. When did you enter beta, and when do you expect to have a fully functioning commercial product?
Yeah, the beta was open to the public, I think about 2 weeks ago. And as we see the progress right now, I would say that for sure we will do this faster than we expected, and the production version will be available for sure before summer.
Okay, excellent. And is this geared towards the average consumer, like the person I described, where I know something about computers but not a lot, or is it more geared towards the hardcore miner? Who would you think is your ideal audience for this?
No, we created our software in the way that it's good for both guys. For that one who is just a very new one and he just want to have 1 or 2 machines in his garage, and this is what he has. But it's also very good for the guys who operate quite big mining farms, 100, 500, 1,000 machines. And maybe it sounds a little strange, but we are giving to both of them different kind of things. For the guy who is a new one, we give him all these automations that he doesn't have to know what the mining program is in truth. He doesn't have to know the command line things. It's something like switching from maybe if you remember from from DOS operating system, DOS, to the Windows, to the graphical user interface. You don't have to know all these command line things. And for the guys who operate quite big mining farms, we offer a very easy management system that he knows everything immediately from one point, from one dashboard. He knows all his machines, which are working, where the problems are, or which are not working. And he can switch, for example, 100 computers from mining Ethereum to Zcash or something other just by one click. And this is really very important for operating a huge farm.
In a way, we actually found out that both customer groups really want the same thing, right? They want stability, they want peace of mind, and they want ease of use. But they may define it in different ways, right? So ease of use and stability for somebody who has 2 mining machines, like Lukasz said, somewhere squirreled away in his garage. That's something very different than somebody who has 400 mining machines, most of which are being operated for somebody else, right? He actually has his own customers that he's responsible to, and for him, it's a different order of magnitude, right? So we're basically trying to perform this balancing act. Well, our system is at the same time easy enough and friendly enough to use for somebody who doesn't know the first thing about mining, but at the same time provides enough power and versatility for someone who is an advanced user with a huge hardware base and has very specific requirements for how this hardware should operate and why.
So let me ask you this, Lukasz. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. What do you see as the future of cryptocurrency mining? Obviously, you're moving into the graphical interface, which is a big leap forward. But let's move forward another year or another 5 years. Where do you see mining at that time?
Well, yeah, 5 years is huge.
Well, let's keep it simple. Let's say in the next year, what new developments and innovations do you see?
Mostly, I think that this is also what I will be talking about on the conference. But I see the mining to be more popular in 2 areas. One, that there will be some mining farms which will be collecting a huge number of computers. But also the mining will be popular in individual persons, that they can have 1, 2, 3, maybe even 5 machines located somewhere in house. And I believe that the people will know more about crypto in 1 year. So it will be more popular. The mining will be more popular too. And also, I believe that the systems like ours, like Easymine, will help to spread the word about mining, that the people will know about mining, because we change a phase from, this not understandable, crazy things which you have to type in on command line machine to the graphical interface, user interface, and it makes more friendly and people will feel better. So I hope that the number of people involved in the crypto will be much higher. This is mostly what I see in next year, maybe even in 2, the really some kind of revolution which is coming with the blockchain. It's not this year or not next year. It will be further. But right now we are talking about knowledge, about how many people will understand what cryptocurrency, what mining is. This is the next 2 years thing.
Very good. And Przemyslaw, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm hopeful, but at the same time, slightly skeptical. I'm maybe a little less enthusiastic about things, but the kind of landscape of cryptocurrency awareness right now is Bitcoin. Like, that's what it is, right? You cannot escape Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin on Criminal Minds. You have Bitcoin on Oprah. You have Bitcoin on Saturday Night Live. When people think cryptocurrency right now, in sort of the popular imagination, cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. So I think the next step, and this is, I think, where my thinking and Lukasz's thinking intersect, the next step is education, right? Is spreading knowledge, is getting people to understand that there's more than Bitcoin to the cryptocurrency ecosystem, and that they can actually participate in the whole thing on a level more advanced than just, buying and selling cryptocurrency on an exchange, right? That there is something to be taken from actual deeper involvement in the process of being a miner, of being somebody who helps the entire system run. So I think what we're looking at in the next couple of years is this shift of perspective onto cryptocurrency as, shift from something that kind of exists on your periphery, something that exists as this kind of interesting but not really relevant to your daily lived experience kind of thing, to something that you may actually be actively involved in on a daily basis, that you may actually participate in and benefit from.
Excellent. Two differing perspectives, and who knows who's right?
Yeah.
I mean, when it all comes down to it, as far as what's the future of cryptocurrency, nobody really knows. Take your pick on who you want to listen to. You have a 50% chance of being right anyway.
Well, the pace of change in this particular industry, the far, far future is like next week, right?
Indeed it is.
That's the level of prediction we're capable of right now.
Okay, Easymine.io. Tell us quickly if our audience is interested in learning more, is this something that they can access now? Is it an open beta, or do we need to wait for the full product to be launched?
Oh, it's an open beta. If you're adventurous enough, you can access it right now. Well, we're still like Lukasz said, we're still in the fairly early stage. We launched just a little bit over 2 weeks ago, so it's
first thing.
Yeah, it's more mine than easy. It does mine, but it does require a certain level of
attention.
Yes.
for now it's mine. Later it'll be Easymine. Okay.
Yes.
But even now, I would say it's much easier to start mining than it was before Easymine was started. So really, if you've got some rig and you want to start mining process, then Easymine is really, even now, a good solution. Mm-hmm. And this is what we hear from our users, because the demand for our system is really huge. And we wanted to open a beta in February, but because people were so, maybe not aggressive, but they
insistent.
They really forced us to make it faster. They really wanted to start use our system even on the very early beta stage. And they agree for all these bad things and maybe not polished user interface or something like this, but they want it right now. And we see this, that the people are really involved. They are really helping us to find all the problems, all the errors, and they are very active.
Okay, very good. Lukasz Zeligowski and Przemyslaw Budziszewski from Poland, Easymine.io. Thanks very much for joining us, gentlemen. We recommend everyone to check out the beta of Easymine.io, and you can also come and visit them at the Bitcoin Superconference coming up in Dallas. That'll do it for this episode. We'll see you next time on the Future Tech Podcast.
The Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Superconference is coming to Dallas, Texas, February 16, 17, and 18 in 2018. If you know of a better way to get the latest insider knowledge about crypto, to hear directly from the top minds in this field, to interact personally with 800 fellow crypto lovers, hodlers, investors, miners, traders, developers, and founders, then I'd like to hear about it. If you don't, then you don't want to miss out. Register today for the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Blockchain Superconference. Go to bitcoinsuperconference.com and register today as a super early bird to get the lowest rates on tickets and hotel rooms. That's bitcoinsuperconference.com.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.